And there we go. Oh my God, no. I wasn't gonna wear the hat. Oh, I'm sad to report. I remembered I gave the hat away. I thought that maturing was getting rid of the hat. The detective's fedora, if you will. However, I miss the hat. I miss the hat. Maybe I'll get one for a couple of weeks because I'm broke. But we're back. We're back. It's been a year. A year since what? Only Murders in the Building season 4? Or a year since I was correct to a T. That is right. I was the one who started the stolen scripts theory. The only one that suspected Marshall from the very beginning, and there's the stipulation, and got his motivation correct to a T. Like the whole scenario. I thought, like, when episode 9 and 10 were revealed, oh my God, it was incredible to be that correct from the get-go. And everybody told me I was crazy, and look at me now. Am I crazy? Yes. Yeah, by a lot, but a genius as well. And I even had a theory last year about Lester's situation, and I said that he might be put on ice just based off of the blood in the pool, this blood spread. None of it made sense. And like these 3 episodes, still things don't make sense, but we'll get there. But I have the links to that playlist down below, specifically to that one theory, because I do think I might be at least 80% correct in that theory. Phenomenal work, past Ivan. All right, so let's just get into this. We're gonna do a quick review of these 3 episodes because I feel like something is off with these 3 episodes, whether it's the dialogue this season, the chemistry, I don't know. But something feels genuinely off. Like nothing's gonna ever beat the season 3 intro. Best opening to date. Wonderful, glorious. But then there was this opening, and this opening wasn't really much of an opening rather than just thrust you right into the story and have you just be, I guess. There was a lot of exposition right off the bat, I will admit, but there's nothing wrong with exposition. Just got to do it correctly. And I don't think they did it correctly or not fully correctly. I don't know. There's a disconnect. Something feels off this time. And so maybe that's why they gave us the first 3 episodes, because I do hear from other reviews that the first 3 episodes are the worst episodes of the whole season, which is not saying that they're bad, it's just comparatively, they're not the best. And honestly, after watching these 3, they start out a little bit slow, but they get better halfway through, apart from episode 3, which I think is the better part is in the first half. But regardless, I do think that these 3 episodes together are a good thing. Separate are a little weak. So it's a good thing that we got these 3 episodes. As a fan, I love it. It's wonderful. As a content creator, what are you doing to us, Hulu? Oh my God, because this was so tough to write. Because how do you tackle this with my format? I don't know. And that's what we're doing here, this little review. Before we begin, because we are going to jump right in, I want to do a fun little Easter egg and clue finding segment just before we jump into the things, because I think it's super fun. That is going to include the opening credits Easter eggs, something that I didn't realize that they had until season 4, honestly. So for episode 1, the opening credits Easter egg is Mabel's Stanley cup in the window, teasing us that this is the cup that she's going to haul around with this mysterious finger, keeping it on ice. Episode 2 actually has 2 of these Easter eggs, the first one being Howard reeling his mother at the beginning and at the end of the opening credits. I couldn't get the screenshot of the first one for some reason. And then the second one is Lester standing on top of the Arconia, and that's appropriate because this is a Lester focused episode. I thought that was pretty sweet. And in episode 3, this really weird symbol in the sun. I do not know what this is. If you know what it is, please let me know. I feel like I am missing something entirely with this one. I don't know. And next, we actually have all of the instances in which you can see the finger resting in that shrimp bowl. Okay, not all of the instances, because that would be a lot, but like you can actually see the finger in the shrimp bowl, plain as day, if you're looking for it. I thought that is an incredible detail, pretty awesome, I will say. And then we have Oliver's show, Newark, making an appearance behind Oliver in the shadows, foreshadowing Oliver's shady past with his show. I thought that was also incredible. Another great detail. Good job, directors and showrunners. So now we're going into pre-theory time. It's theory time, but kind of. We're gonna go over a couple of facts that we know about Lester. What do we know about Lester? Coluca. Well, one, he was born in Flatbush, New York in 1948, and this, honestly, we get a lot of information about what his age would have been, because if he was born in 1948, well, that means in 2024, 2025, he would have been around 76 or 77. That is the age in which he died. So let's do some more math and break only murders again for a third time using ages and numbers and things that don't necessarily line up with the timeline, but we're gonna ignore because, you know, it's not important. We have learned after 5 seasons that these things are not important. I just like pointing them out because they break the show. Lester was a doorman for 32 years, so 76 minus 32, and let's, you know, give or take a couple of years, let's say 3 max years for the shooting and production of this weird documentary, The Study of Doormen in New York City. So that's 35 years, so 76 minus 35 is 41. This man does not look 41 years old to me. That is the only gripe that I have for the show. And I think they were wanting him to be a little bit younger because we don't see him pursuing acting like outside of doormanning. So to me, it just felt like, oh, he's straight away, he's his own person, his own man, because he's old enough to be, and he's now doormanning because he has to do the work to survive. However, again, just going by ages, this man is supposed to be 41 years old, and so it's weird to me. This whole age thing is weird to me, how like Ben Glenroy's ages doesn't line up with what he was saying for Brazos and Brazos. It just, nothing made sense. I broke the show in season 3, I broke the show in season 4, I'm breaking the show now. Kind of. It's more like a wobble. I'm wobbling the strings. And here's the thing that won me over with this man as young Lester. This man, Lester, young Lester, is supposed to be a Carl from Up who had it all, who never lost his wife, who had kids. That's what this man is supposed to be. He's supposed to be our healing from childhood. So that's why as soon as I saw them get married and do all the things, I was like, I'm on board. I love this man. He's great. And then once he started acting like Lester, it was wonderful. So it just, you know, love of a good partner. But I will say it is getting insanely difficult going back in time and watching Charles and Oliver specifically be absolute assholes to people that we all love. We know who they were back then. We know who they are. But that means Lester actually personally knew each victim for years. Kind of, not really Ben Glenroy. So it is safe to say then, if Lester knows all of the victims, then he actually might know the killer or killers. Yes, it is wild theory time. Now, okay, hear me out for just a little memento. This season, season 5, is so weird already because, truth be told, I don't have like a read on who the murderer is, and that's the first time since kind of season 2. Like, I don't think the writers knew who the murderer was in season 2 either way. Everyone collectively agrees that season 2 just doesn't exist. But I knew it was Jan as soon as she walked into that elevator because of body language. I knew it was Donna and Cliff because of the writing, honestly. It was on the wall from the very beginning. That opening scene was very telling. I used the Stranger Things method. And in season 4, I knew immediately that it was Marshall, again, because of body language. Body language makes up more of our communication than any other language. Please keep that in mind. But that is to say that this season, I don't know. I do know that we have met the murderer in these first 3 seasons. We always have. We always do. But who are those 2 murderers? And I do mean 2 murderers.
Well, actually, there are 2 wars right now.
2 wars! Okay, so as always, I'm going to present 3 scenarios for you, and then I'm going to stick with the one that is likely going to be the one until I'm proven incorrect. And until I'm proven incorrect, I'm going to stick with that. Just like I stuck with Marshall. And I was rewarded. I was rewarded. But if I am wrong, then, you know, it's fine. That's why these wild theories exist, to present wild scenarios that may or may not be a thing. So, do I know who the murderer is in actuality? Not necessarily, but I have sniffed out quite a few red herrings in this story. And the way I want you to look at this is that this whole, right now, this whole season, they're just beads on a string, and that string is just kind of just thrown about onto the table, and that if you just grab both sides, both ends of the string, and you just, you know, straighten it out, all of the beads will fall into place. The problem is we are missing a few beads and the string is a little bit tangled. So we got to untangle it, put the beads back into the respective order, spread it out, and then straighten it out, and then we'll be fine. That is how I'm looking at this. So now you understand how my brain works in that regard. It works very weirdly. So theory number 1, it's the same as my last year's theory. Lester knows who killed Nikki. That's why he was killed. Lester witnessed it, therefore he had to go. Wrong place, wrong time. Very sad, very tragic. However, because of the blood spread, everyone's like, oh, the blood was filled. No, it wasn't. That blood was in the corner of the pool. It was not spread across. And this man was cold, like cold, like really cold. It was just impossible that this fountain was not actually filled with blood. It was that one corner where he was at. So I do fully believe that Lester was iced, that his body was put on ice and it was dropped back into the fountain later that morning. Theory number 2, Lester was killed by everyone in the group. I know that I present this every single freaking season, and it was even teased in season 4, which is why I do think it is more of a likely to happen this season, because they teased it last season, so it couldn't have happened, but this season it could, because no one's thinking about it anymore. Writers, I see you. It is very likely that everyone had, not necessarily a motive, but a motivation, I guess it's the same thing, to have Lester no longer exist. Down to his freaking wife, and we'll get there. But I want to hold on to this everyone is the murderer theory in actuality this time, not in silly. Well, in silliness, absolutely. But I'm gonna be a little bit serious about this one because it makes no sense. It makes no sense if it's mafia and there's, oh my God, it just seems like a collective. We'll see. And theory number 3, and this is the one that I'm going to run with mostly until I'm proven incorrect. Lester and Nikki were killed by 2 separate people. Thus, we have 2 unlinked murders. Yep, not separate murders, not murder by the same person twice, whatever. It's 2 murders, and I think these murders might actually be unlinked and entirely coincidental. Think about it. Just a tiny little bit. My first theory is a little too on the nose, right? It's a cliche. It's trite. We've done it. We've seen it. The second one, I mean, it could happen finally. I will say Only Murders does have this 2 murderers trend going on. And they even played with that last episode with, oh, there might be 2 killers. And in my head, everyone was like, oh my God, of course there's probably 2 killers. And it was only 1. What if they're putting a creative spin on this 2 killer trend? There are 2 killers, but not for the same murder, for 2 different murders. There are 2 murders going on. Again, maybe they're actually doubling down on what they should have doubled down on season 4. They're actually doing it this season, and I'm kind of excited. I see it. I don't know how no one else is seeing it, but I see it. So this then brings up the question for theory number 3. Who are those 2 murderers and what are their separate motivations? Well, first I need to tell you my stipulation for each murderer, because I do think there are stipulations for each murderer. For Lester, the murderer is definitely somebody that he personally knows. Look at the way Lester is running. This is a story of personal attack. And I'll get to if Lester knows every victim, stands to believe that he knows his own killer. It's kind of just poetic. It just seems like that is the thing that they were leading us toward. And for Nikki, I don't really have any stipulations for Nikki. It's just really for Lester that I have the stipulations for. All right, so suspect list. Who is on my list? Well, first we gotta go over the not it list, because I do think that going over the not it list is gonna help us with the actual list. So first, who is on my not it list? Nicky Cacciamilio. He did not murder Lester, who I keep wanting to call Frank because I just watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I'm really sorry. I'm mistaking Frank and Lester, 2 entirely different characters and people. But Nicky Cacciamilio did not kill Lester. I mean, for one, he's dead. And I can hear you all now, but he could have killed Lester before he died. No, No, he could not have, because we already said Lester witnessed the death, and or it just doesn't really make sense time-wise, and I'll get there. But it genuinely, Nikki could not have done it. The meat cleaver that is in Nikki's chest is definitely the same one that chopped off the finger. So I guess the stipulation really is Nikki chops off a finger. Whoever finger got chopped off didn't kill Nikki. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, that finger is the one that killed Nikki because the cleaver, all this that. No. So here's how the scenario kind of works in my head, right? Big boss Nikki says something with a mob accent type thing. Logan Lerman's like, oh my god, I'm pretty, don't hurt me. And then Nikki's like, oh, boom, chops off the finger. Pretty billionaire playboy, probably. He's probably a little bit more of on the wuss side, so he probably leaves. He doesn't really fight back. He just leaves. Then whoever is around to argue with Nikki is the one that ends up killing Nikki. Oh my god, did Lester accidentally kill Nikki? Oh my god. Which this thus consequently makes Logan Lerman's character, Jeff Flug, not the killer as well. Because if he was the one who got his finger chopped off by Nikki, and again, my theory being correct about his personality, he likely just cried, ran away, he's not gonna be the murderer. Plus, this is only murders in the building. Anytime that there's a reveal cliffhanger, they're gonna quickly resolve it and then be like, oh yeah, that was actually the explanation for that. So, no, not Jeff. It ain't Jeff either. So, not Nikki, not Jeff. So who else is on the not it list? It's Sophia Cajamelio. A lot of people are gonna be like, oh, it's definitely her because of the crooked cops. Who else could it be? Remember, we have not seen the rest of the cast yet, so there's so many people out here that we're gonna see. We're gonna see the Caputo family. What if Richard Kine's character, the Westy guy, what if he's involved? Who knows? The thing is that Sophia's body language, again, does not read that of a guilty woman who killed her own husband, who killed the doorman. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't care. Her need right now is love and belonging. She wants her husband back. She wants to be loved and to be seen. She wants to be seen and appreciated. She is surrounded by a bunch of dude bros all the freaking time. She's frustrated. She did not kill her husband. It is sweet, honestly, but she is not the killer. And this year, I'm actually adding a not sure yet, because, I mean, we do have to look at everybody, but I don't know yet, because I do think that there's, like last season, and I was kind of correct there, there's multiple crimes going on. And again, I think these crimes are connected, like connected via the dots or strings on a bead, but I don't think they are connected in the sense that one is leading to the other, to the other, to the other. It's just that they're all part of a bigger picture. So, who are my not sure yet? First off, Thea. Is she just supposed to be some like second weird foil to Mabel? Because I genuinely think that Jeff Luke is going to be a sort of foil for Mabel. I understand why she is here. I just don't understand murder mystery wise, because she, if it ends up being Thea, then I guess kudos to everyone, to the writers, but I will be frustrated because you will not have set that up whatsoever. Only other than Thea was someone that Lester knew way back then, but she left, and I need to see more from Thea. I would just be a little frustrated if she was the murderer. And part of me is just like, oh man, I kind of feel like that's something that they would do. So that's why she's on the not sure list, because I don't want her to be. The other two billionaires, we need to see more from them. I do think it's maybe a little bit too obvious, but like how Jeff is Mabel's foil, I do believe the other two are the foils for the other two. The serious CEO guy paired up with the crazy, outlandish, colorful Oliver, and then the femme fatale with Charles, which I don't know how they're foils, honestly. The others just make sense because last season they got to see their mirror selves, exactly. And this season, they get to see the opposite of themselves. And I do think that's why these characters exist in that regard. But consequently, because of that, I do not think that they are the murderers. And lastly on my not sure list is the mayor. I do think that the mayor is involved with some type of crime. Is he involved with the murder directly? I don't think so, but I think he's one of those like blind accomplices where, because again, he wants the votes, he wants all the things, so he'll do literally whatever. So he'll just sign off and do things, but I do think he's doing shady things. The police thing for Nikki, that's so weird to me. Is it the mayor or is it someone else that we have not seen yet? Because they're blaming the Caputo family, and again, why would Sophia? It's so bizarre. Oh my God. What happened to the other doorman? He's now on my not sure list as well. The old doorman, who surely would be old by now and possibly dead, because after 32 years, where's that man now? Let's not look away from Lester's doorman trainer. Let's look at him. Let's put him now on the not sure list. So those are my not sures. So now we're going to go with the actual suspect list. And I have 3 suspects for you. And then these suspects are mainly for Lester, because who killed Nikki? Don't freaking know yet. We don't know. But we're going to go from least suspect to most suspect, starting with Lorraine Coluca. Once again, body language. The way she steps back into that bush when the mayor's speaking, I don't know. What you hiding, girl? What you hiding? I see you, and I'm not gonna let you get away with it. Plus, she's not emotional. Like, okay. I'm watching The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox, so I'm trying not to be like, oh, you know, the way they're acting emotionally wise, because everybody copes differently. Everybody deals with things differently. Some people cry, some people don't. But just her specifically, she doesn't seem sad that he's gone, rather that the situation is what it is. Lorraine knows something, and that's why I'm like, maybe everyone did it, because she could not have done it necessarily, but someone else could have done it, but she could have been involved, right? That's why I'm saying like, But also, here's some of the things as to why I believe Lorraine could be a killer. Did you guys not find it weird that she pointed out the blood and how she wishes she would have gotten a chance to clean it before it was there? The blood on the hat. It was weird to me. It was very weird how she just she pointed that out so specifically. So to me, I read it in 2 ways. One, that blood is not Lester's blood. Oh my God, it's not Lester's blood. And then 2, she knows, and she wants to clean that blood off. So she did it, or she knows what would be her motivation to kill her own husband. Well, I think that she got too comfortable with lavishness, with the money. I think that Lorraine does know what Lester does, because it seems like Lester didn't tell Lorraine what was going on, but I do think Lorraine is much smarter than she gives off. She knows, as she knew exactly where the money is coming from, as she did not necessarily care because it's money. They lived a great life. So now that Lester's wanting to retire, and I bet you Lester had a plan. I bet you Lester said, hey honey, we're gonna do this thing. I'm gonna train up a trainee, and then I'm gonna retire because, you know, I have a trainee. And I bet you she did not like that. I think the clues are in the flashbacks in episode 2 of Lester's death, rather the POV of Lester's death. So let's review really quickly. So first, Lester is running from someone. That's very clearly. He's running from someone, and I do think it's someone that he knows just based off of his facial expressions. And then he drops a very clean elevator crank. He ignores it and rushes to the fountain. And the big question is, why the fountain? Why did he rush there? I do believe he had a trajectory in mind, and I think that was the fountain. Lester afterward turns around and looks up. Why? Who is he looking at? What is he looking at? I think he might be looking at the fountain top, because he said in season 3 that fountain top, it reminds him of him and Lorraine, because that's where they got married. I think if it's Lorraine, Lester was trying to lure Lorraine to that fountain. And if Lorraine is looking at Lester from a window above, looking at a murderer murder him, then he's looking up at the thing and at Lorraine saying, this is where, what are you doing, Lorraine? What are you doing, my love? However, she wants money more than she wants love, and she's going to get it through Randall. She's going to get it through anyone that she can, because Lester is done working. What are they going to do with the money? What? So nah. So after that, it's a very quick shot of a hand reaching in and grabbing something, and I managed to screenshot what that was. It's a bird. It's a little floating bird in the water, and I do believe that maybe that hand might not actually be Lester's hand, but it's a bird, and whatever type of bird that is, that's the murderer. And then we see Lester fall onto the fountain. I think it was placed. We see him fall onto the fountain, and then we see a bloody crank, implying that the crank was the murder weapon, and I knew that the crank was going to be the murder weapon as soon as Nikki said, "Whoa, you gonna hit me with that?" I knew. I just thought that Lester was going to kill Nikki with the crank, which still might be a thing, but I don't think it is, because we saw that crank very specifically be clean when he dropped it, and then afterward it was bloody. So I do assume that Lester was hit on the head with this crank, and then he was placed into the fountain to make it look like an accident. It's what I've been saying, kind of. I did say that he was not killed in the fountain. I think he was killed outside the fountain and then placed in the fountain. That's what I was saying. But here's how. Let's look at this shot for a second. We're gonna get very Anatomy of a Fall for a second here. Someone falling, slipping and falling, they'll go, wow, bop, right? They go up and down, or they go wah, up and down. So it's always it's inertia. Someone being pushed, however, is like it's immediate down. It's immediate down. Or someone being placed, it's an immediate down. So watch Anatomy of a Fall! I am telling you, man, the angles and the motion at which Lester is placed onto this fountain does not scream fall, slip, or push. It screams place. He was placed, he was put there forcibly, because again, oh my god, I hit a man. He's, we gotta cover it up, Bottom line, Lorraine is on my list, but I think she's more on the list of everyone did it rather than just one person did it. Lorraine knows something. She knows something, but Lorraine is not innocent. Lorraine, I'm on to you. My second on the list, and it's unbelievable that this individual is higher on the list than actual Lorraine, but it is actually Howard. Every single season, man, every single season, Howard is a suspect. But here's my reasoning as to why. Remember when I said last season how Howard kept saying he was lonely, how he kept wanting to be part of the podcast, he kept trying to be part of their group, and the group was not really letting them. Nobody was really letting them. Now at the very beginning of this season, the very first thing he says is that Evelyn and Gravy no longer like him and are spending time with each other outside of him. And Jonathan is seemingly ignoring him because of work and all this other things of tour. My homeboy is incredibly lonely. He also has needs of belonging. He also has needs to feel loved and appreciated by people. The whole producer season 5 ordeal, I don't know, that screamed it for me. As soon as I saw that footage, oh my god, dude, I don't know, but it just screamed Howard to me. It just screamed, Howard, you didn't, did you? You couldn't have murdered Lester just to keep this going. And that's why I'm saying it could likely be two separate murders. Like Nikki could have died completely separately, entirely something else. And Howard, having absolutely broke, could have been like, let's kill Lester and let's start things. Could Howard be the overall killer this season? Finally, would they commit to it, or are they foreshadowing his eventual death? I don't know. Who knows? But my eyes are not off of Howard just yet. I do think Howard, he might be doing a pretty beautiful job here. So finally, my number one suspect is Randall. This might be everybody's suspect at this point because there's not really that many suspects to have. But again, process of elimination leads us to Randall. But then at the same time, I do think that this is a classic pick for Only Murders in the Building. Remember season 1. What did Jan say that I brought up in my season 3 videos and my season 4 videos, and I'm bringing it up here right now because repetition is key. What did Jan say? Or I guess it wasn't in season 1, it was in season 2. This is an artist. The murderer, the killer is an artist. They're setting up the scene and everything. So that's why I said, oh, season 4's killer is an artist. Because Marshall was literally composing his movie. He was literally composing the elements of what he wanted his movie. Good movie, bad movie, doesn't matter. He was composing those elements and I saw right through. And so part of me thinks, twisted creative take on the artist being the murderer trend. This man is a frustrated artist, just like Lester was. Lester wanted to be an actor. Randall wants to be like a musical artist. And the way that Lester kind of just dismissed Randall, oh my god, did you not see Randall's expression, his subtle response to it? Randall did not like that. And it just stands to reason that Randall, his body language, the way he is, just very reserved, cold, not like Lester. It just seems to me that Randall is more of an opportunistic individual than Lester ever was. And I think that if Lester, in the mind of Randall, is holding out on Randall, who is also suffering, someone who was just like him, who knows the struggle and been through it, and didn't want to share, to Randall, that would say selfish, jealous, evil old man, and that would cause frustrated stir to Randall, I would assume. Now, am I fully convinced that any one of these three is the murderer more than the other? Not really. I'm honestly not fully convinced that either of these are the murders. We are just going off of the facts that we are presented with, and we'll see if we are correct. But my main theory is that these are two separate murders, separate occasions, and that they're bleeding into each other. Last thing I want to say before I go is does anyone else get the sense that Charles is gonna die? It was just very heavy-handed in episode 3. That was crazy. Like just they laid it on thick. Is Charles going to die? Is Charles going to die and then he's gonna have to figure out his own murder? That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be really, really freaking crazy. Either way, I'm gonna go. Let me know what your theories are in the comments below. Oh my God, we're back. We are back. We're gonna come up with the wildest theories and we're gonna figure out who this murderer is. This one is tough. This one is tough, but might I say, 2 murder mysteries in the same year involving birds. This one and The Residence. The Residence is amazing. Best 10 out of 10. Go watch it. And I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.